Well, we noticed right off the bat when we came back, and I think we talked about it in some of the earlier press conferences that he was in better shape. His percent body fat was down. He was running with better pad level, and so through 21, 22 practices, he just kind of emerged, and he's a guy that we're really excited about. With working from under the center and doing more downhill things, he's got the ability to take the pile and move it. And we'll need them all. And Trey and Fozzie, have done some really good things. We just feel like Cody right now brings the most to the party.
You're going to play him all, or is he really the starter?
Well, he is the starter. There's no doubt that Cody is the starter. But through the course of the ball game, you'll see them all. And Trey, as we've talked about before, has great vision, runs with patience, is a good receiver. Fozzie brings the ability for the explosive play. Really good in the passing game. Very, very bright in blitz pickup and those kind of things. So all three of them can play extended amount of time. But Cody is definitely the starter at this time.
Coach, what was the deciding factor to back up with Case McCoy?
We told Case and Connor the first meeting in August that the biggest factor would be taking care of the football, and over the course of the practices, Case just did a little better job. They both did some really good things. I'm excited about both of them, but that was the deciding factor.
Coach, if we had talked a month ago about the freshmen, you wouldn't have known what they would do, how they would react, and yet sitting today and the depth chart comes out, and there's a lot of young kids that apparently made quite an impact in the last couple of weeks. Can you just talk about that process and how they made kind of emerge?
Well, you never count on a freshman. You don't know if they're going to be in shape. You don't know if the volume of information, the tempo of the game, you just don't know how they're going to handle all that. But it was real obvious early that Mike Davis really did a good job in the slot. He's a natural ball catcher. He's got some natural skills in there, so we're excited about him. Trey Hopkins is a guy that we started at left tackle early in camp. We had an injury to Mason. Minor injury, but he was going to miss a couple of days. So we took Trey and moved him to guard. Very bright guy. Reminds me a little bit of a young Justin Blaylock. Never says anything. When he asks a question, it's a very good question. And so he's obviously got himself in a position that he's going to play. Darius White just continues to grow. He's a big guy that can make. He made a great play in one-on-one coverage the other day in our last scrimmage, and so those are guys that have stepped up, and we're going to play them.
How do you give all those young guys the time they need, plus your veteran guys the time they need?
Well, in camp, you're throwing so many balls. I mean, from the time they walk on the field, so it's easy to give them time. Garrett doesn't get as much time with all of them as some of the other quarterbacks, but Mike has been alternating in with John Childs in the first huddle for maybe 10 days now. So I think Garrett has a good feel for him in that spot.
But as far as like a game, like going into this game, Coach Brown said that's one of the difficult things, finding playing time and how much you're going to play and all that stuff.
Well, what we try to do at every position, whether or not it's the offensive line or the wide receivers, we have a group of guys that we consider to be starters. And, if they're in that pool, then they can just rotate in at any time during the ball game. And then you have another group that, you'd like to get in, but the game is going to dictate to some degree at what point, you play those guys if it presents itself. I'm not sure, Leslie. I'd probably have to go back and look, but this is a very good class. It's obvious that it is a very good class on both sides of the ball.
The biggest concern?
The biggest concern is, there's only You can put them in scrimmage situations. You can put them in walkthroughs, but until the bands are playing and the people are there, you're never quite sure what you're going to get. You feel like you have a good idea, but you're never quite sure. So, that's the next hurdle that we got to get through and see how they respond in game situations.
Coach, there's a lot of talk sometimes about quarterbacks having favorite receivers. From an offensive coordinator's perspective, how much do you want that? What you've got right now, how much do you want that with Garrett, and how much do you maybe not?
Right now, what I see is probably 3 or 4 guys catching 30 to 40 balls as opposed to one guy catching 100 balls. And I think he has really good chemistry with several of the guys. So I don't know that there'll be, at least early, that go-to guy, that Shipley, that everything is designed to try to get him in a one-on-one situation.
How nice is it now that it is Garrett's team? Do they have practice with them all season long, all off season, and this is finally passing the torch?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's Colt was here for 5 years and fall camp installations, and look around in the meetings and he's not sitting back there. It's a little bit unusual, but I think Garrett is a lot of the same qualities. He's a very bright guy. Doesn't say a whole lot. His leadership is mainly through actions and the way he prepares and the way he practices, and so we're excited about him. I think he's going to be an outstanding player.
How much do you want him to, maybe not erase the impressions from that outside game, just build on that?
Well, I think it was obvious in spring when we started spring that the experience he gained in that ball game was, you can't hand that to somebody. You have to go do it. And the experience that he gained against on the stage that he was on against a quality football team, and the way he improved from the beginning when he went in, I think that speaks volume about him. Well, we would like to. What we told Connor is that it was a very close decision. We're very pleased with a lot of things that he did during the course of camp, but at the same time, we don't make decisions on redshirting until 6-7 games into the year. So we have kept him with us. He's in all the meetings. He's on our end of the field. We're preparing him because if something happens, then immediately, the plans have changed. So right now, he is. We would like to redshirt him if everybody stays healthy.
Coach, you talked about the receivers and how it sounded like there's going to be kind of an even distribution as far as who's going to be catching. Do you feel like the running backs are going to be kind of the same? Is that how you're going to utilize them, or is Cody going to see a lot of opportunities?
Well, Cody's going to start off, and depending on each game and what we're asking out of that position, he needs to get him good rest on Friday night because he's going to get him a bunch of carries.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.